Well, AJ, we do like to always kind of like summarize and wrap up with our guests where we ask the same question to like pull it back a little bit and add some cohesivity between episodes because our topics vary. And so
So
one
do
of the
I.
things we have that in common as well. And one of the things that I had a CTO recently say that he felt like the fight for privacy was dead and that now it's really the fight for security. Obviously, given your background in security and intelligence, I think you might have an interesting perspective on this. So where do you feel like we're at for the fight for privacy? Is it still alive and well, or have we really pivoted now and it's the fight for security because we can no longer believe that our information is private?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd be really interested to know who the CTO was. So I actually wrote an article on this, I wrote a magazine article on this, I don't know, a couple of years ago now at this point. And the title was something to the effect of privacy is dead. So I think that probably gives you an idea of where I'm going to go with my answer on this. I'm inclined to believe the CTO is probably correct. Now, that does not mean that all of us should go, I'm not going to worry about my privacy. I think it's a bad idea, but I think we're close to being in that position. You know, I've talked about a post-truth world. I've also talked about a post-privacy world. And I think it's a combination of factors. First of all, so many things have been compromised, but there's also a matter of, it's a generational shift. The Gen Z, millennials, they live a more public life by choice. They live on social media. They're things that, listen, I'm a Gen Xer, things that we wouldn't have done, things that our parents definitely wouldn't have done in public or talked about. It's just everyday occurrence now. There's a generation of people who don't really care about their privacy. Now they may care later. I think there'll be some regrets down the road, but it doesn't matter by then. It's going to be over. So I think there'll always be some level of privacy. I just think it's gotten to be a much smaller and smaller a bit of data, right? I think people still have skeletons in their closet, but I think the challenges there are because there's less and less of it, even though it's really important. I think people also are less and less focused on security. And ultimately, we may be in a position where there is nothing that's private, and the world's going to be a very open space. And some will say that's great. We'll all be authentic, and everybody will know everything. And those people who say that, I would ask them, do you want everybody to know everything about you? And you don't answer the question, they won't. But the answer is always no. Somebody has something. It might be minor and nothing, by the way, but we're all embarrassed about something in life. So, yeah, I think privacy is more of a concept than a reality at this point. I think most of it's gone. I don't think that means we stop fighting for it. I think it's still a big part of security. I don't think we give up. I do think a lot of things that aren't private, they also just fade away. There's new privacy, right? So if tomorrow you said, I'm going to be a very private person, everything in the world that's out there is out there, but you can stop giving things away. And over time, your life does change. And then you have more privacy as you go. You just have to accept that you've given a lot away. So, there's a chance to come back to it, but privacy is not a priority. Frankly, for the upcoming couple of generations, being out there and, some chase of fame or whatever is a much bigger deal. There's a lot of chasing of the jackpot, of fame, that you have to give up privacy for. So yeah, I mean, the CTO that you talked about, I happen to side with on this, but again, I don't think that means we stop trying. And I think for those who want to be private, you still have an opportunity. You just have to make different choices, and recognize that a choice is everything now. Listen, 30, 40 years ago, you had a secret get out. A dozen people knew about it in your neighborhood. Now a secret gets out. 10 million people around the world, most of whom don't even know you, know it. They may not care, but they know it now. And it's just out there and it's forever. So, I think we have to be careful with it, but I just think generationally, it's probably a dying concept at this point.
Yeah. Very big generational differences there that there's a rabbit hole I could go down, but we don't have time for that, unfortunately. AJ, this has been awesome.